Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Kim Calvert, Vice President of Marketing and Business Services at the Regional Chamber, and it's truly my privilege to welcome you to the 23rd Annual ATHENA Award Dinner. Tonight, we honor 16 nominees, women who strive toward the highest levels of professional accomplishment. Women who excel in their own chosen field, have devoted time, energy, and leadership to their community, and who serve as exceptional role models, inspiring and assisting others to achieve excellence. Tonight, we celebrate women who embody Athena, the dynamic goddess of Greek mythology, known for her strength, courage, and wisdom, all qualities found in our nominees. They have a tremendous ability to impact whatever issues they choose to address and to create change, and their work and dedication impact not just a few, but thousands across our entire valley. Our nominees represent a diverse group comprising public and private companies, not-for-profit organizations, government and education, finance and healthcare sectors, just to name a few. Because strength, drive, and determination are vital to the levels of success our nominees have attained, we're especially excited to welcome our keynote speaker. Beth Mooney, of course, made history as the first female CEO of a top 20 U.S. banking company in an industry that is extremely male-dominated. She is the #1 ranked most powerful woman banker in the world, in the nation, and one of the most powerful women in the world. But those rankings come as no surprise when considering Ms. Mooney's foray into the banking world, and I don't want to give anything away because it's her story to tell, and I understand she will be sharing it in her remarks today about leadership, legacy, and journeying to the corner office. We are looking forward to hearing from Ms. Mooney a little later in the program, but first, allow me to begin our evening with special introductions. Seated at our head table from your left to right are Attorney Marty Bushy of Manchester, Newman & Bennett, and Chairwoman of the Regional Chamber's Board of Directors, and also our 2011 ATHENA Award recipient. Beth Mooney, Chairman and Chief Executive Officer of Key Corp, and our keynote speaker. Matt Weiner, Retail Sales Leader at Key Bank, our keynote speaker sponsor. Dr. Betty Jo Licata, Dean of the Williamson College of Business Administration at Youngstown State University and Chair of the ATHENA Committee. Holly Welch, Curriculum Supervisor at the Chaffin Career and Technical Center and Youngstown City Schools, and our 2014 ATHENA Award recipient. Dr. Cheryl Figliano, President and Audiologist at the Centers for Hearing Care, our award presentation sponsor, and the 2006 ATHENA Award recipient. Jane Peterson, Vice President of Individual and 2 to 99 Ohio Group Sales at Anthem Blue Cross and Blue Shield, founder of the Anthem Scholarship. And Nina Perkins, Community Events Manager for The Vindicator and Vindy.com, co-presenter of the ATHENA Award Program. Over the 23 years of our local ATHENA initiative, we have identified and honored nearly 900 outstanding women, an impressive who's who of our community's women of achievement. Our local ATHENA program is actually part of the ATHENA International program, and in fact, the Valley's continues to be one of the 5 largest programs in the nation by nominee count and audience size. That, of course, is because we have so many wonderful and accomplished women here and receive continued overwhelming support for this program. The ATHENA Award Dinner would not be possible, of course, without the support of our co-sponsor, The Vindicator and Vindy.com. For 21 years, The Vindicator has partnered with the Regional Chamber to co-sponsor this prestigious event. There truly aren't enough words to express our gratitude for their constant and generous support of this program. Without the Vindicator's extensive promotional and advertising efforts, which reach more than 250,000 readers, the ATHENA program certainly would not be the premier event that it has become in the Valley. We would like to thank Betty Brown Jagnow, the Vindicator's publisher, and General Manager Mark Brown for their dedication in making this evening so special. In addition to the Vindicator's longevity and partnership, Key Bank has been a top sponsor of this event since 2000, and the Centers for Hearing Care has presented our ATHENA sculpture and pin to recipients for 7 years. We have typically called on our sponsors to give remarks at the podium, but decided again this year to feature them on screen so that we could ask them some very specific questions. Take a look.
I just believe in the ATHENA program so heavily. There are so many unsung female heroes in this valley, and we never know who's out there until this night when all of these women are brought together.
We recognize and celebrate women today, women who have charted their own course and travel on the paths of their own heroic endeavors, just as Athena was portrayed in Greek mythology.
Once you come to the event, that says it all. I think you kind of understand how special and how extremely important it is to keep this in the Valley.
KeyBank is a longtime and proud supporter of the ATHENA Awards, both in the Valley and throughout our markets. KeyBank developed the Key for Women program to support women-owned businesses not only in our market, but across our footprint, from Maine to Alaska.
We are so proud to once again be sponsoring the ATHENA with the Vindicator. I cannot believe it's been 23 years. I think one of the nicest elements of the ATHENA program is the opportunity that we have through the Vindicator to run a full-page ad of all the nominees prior to the event. And this includes a color headshot, and the ad then becomes a take-home for them as a memento from the event.
By sponsoring the sculpture and the pin, it meant so much for me to receive those two things that we at Centers for Hearing Care feel so good being able to give them to someone else. You can't come to the Athenas and not leave with a good feeling that, wow, this community really, really is a good place to call home.
To Nina Perkins of the Vindicator, Jeff Douglas, Matt Weiner, and Beth Mooney of KeyBank, and Dr. Figliano of the Centers for Hearing Care, and to all of those at your respective companies, thank you for all of your generous support of the ATHENA program and this wonderful evening. We truly could not do this without you. Can we please give them one final round of applause for making tonight such a phenomenal one? Additionally, the Vindicator joins the Chamber in expressing our gratitude to all of our 2015 ATHENA sponsors. Please hold your applause. Our diamond sponsors, Anthem Blue Cross and Blue Shield, Home Savings and Loan, and Ohio Presbyterian Retirement Services, Lake Vista of Cortland, Park Vista of Youngstown, Mahoning Valley Senior Independence, and the OPRS Foundation. Our corporate sponsors, Akron Children's Hospital, Mahoning Valley, Cortland Banks, Huntington Bank, and Packer Thomas. And our patron sponsors, Lee and Bonnie Boardman, Eastern Gateway Community College, First National Bank, JFS Wealth Advisors, National Healthcare Access Incorporated, the Youngstown Foundation, and the Youngstown State University Foundation. Can we also please have a round of applause for our sponsors? I would now like to spotlight a very impressive group of women, the members of the 2015 ATHENA Award Committee, who are responsible for this evening's success. The group comprises past recipients and nominees, sponsors, and overall influential women in our community. They are passionate, energetic, and incredibly dedicated to this program. And of course, we would not have achieved such success without the exceptional leadership of the committee's chair, Dr. Betty Jo Licata. For the sake of time, I will not read the committee members' names, but they are listed on the program. Ladies, would you all please stand while we give you a round of applause for your efforts in making tonight possible? We also wouldn't be celebrating this event without the help of a wonderful team at the Regional Chamber. From the creation of the nomination forms, invitations, and programs to the reservation process, seating, production, decor, and menu, it really does take a village. But they make every effort to ensure this evening is a magical one for our nominees and guests. And so a special thank you to Chelsea Miller, Mandy Shina, and Chelsea Hazenstab, and especially the special events team of April Stanislaw and Amy Young for another year and for creating a special lasting memory this evening. And to the Chamber's President and CEO, Tom Humphreys, our Board Chairwoman, Marty Bushy, and the entire Board, thank you for your support of this program as well, and all of the wonderful women we honor each year. And speaking of phenomenal women, on May 22nd of 2014, Holly Welch, Curriculum Supervisor at Chaffin Career and Technical Center and Youngstown City Schools, was standing here at the close of the evening after being named our ATHENA Award recipient. And as she's about to tell you, that night and the past year have been quite an experience. Please welcome Holly as she shares her thoughts on the honor and words of wisdom for our nominees and offers our invocation before dinner.
Thank you, Kim. Good evening. I was asked to reflect upon my year last year and what the ATHENA Award means to me. I would like to thank the Regional Chamber and the Vindicator for hosting this amazing program. Just 1 year ago, I was shocked, surprised, and deeply humbled to be announced the 2014 Athena recipient. Second only to my wedding day, it was the best day of my life. I would also like to thank my nominator, Stella Camuso, a fellow educator, for being here again with me this evening. The past year has been a whirlwind of fun and excitement. After winning the beautiful award, I had the opportunity to speak at various engagements, such as the Martin Luther King Jr. Remembering What is Civil and Doing What is Right event. I made it through live TV broadcasts with Stan Boney and WFMJ Morning Show and YSU's student radio station. You get to be featured on magazines and on the front page of the Vindicator. I even get to speak at this year's Vindicator Spelling Bee. That will be so C-O-O-L. As you've heard, I've been a very busy woman. Being the ATHENA Award recipient, your accomplishments are celebrated as all of the outstanding professional women from the Valley here tonight have already or will be. But what being the recipient has meant to me reminds me of a quote from my favorite movie actress, Grace Kelly. Grace Kelly most certainly led a fairy tale life. Once a model, an Academy Award-winning actress, to the ranks of real-life princess, Princess of Monaco. She had fame, beauty, money, prestige, and more. But what Grace wanted to be remembered as always shocked me as a teenage girl. Reading her biographies, I remember a quote she said, "I would like to be remembered as someone who accomplished useful deeds and who was a kind and loving person. I would like to leave the memory of a human being with a correct attitude and who did her best to help others." I thought at 16, certainly you would want to be remembered for your awards, your beauty, your titles, your best friends who were famous singers, Hollywood stars, and fashion designers. As I matured past that teenage girl stage, thank God, ladies, we all did, I realized I still wanted to be just like her. She had it spot on all along. And all that we do that has brought us here tonight, it's not about this gorgeous marble and crystal award, the awesome gold pin you'll all receive, the magazine covers, or your future tour. It's about what the ATHENA Award represents in you, a woman who contributes to her profession, leads the way through her valued leadership in our community, and her active support for professional women. You embody what really matters in life and the ATHENA Award, and never forget it. Thank you and congratulations.
It's a great evening to celebrate the accomplishments of these 16 amazing women, and we're glad that you're here, and I'm sure your friends and family that you're here to honor are even more glad that you're here to continue to offer love and support to them on their special evening. We also hope that you enjoyed the excellent dinner and have offered a toast to your nominee with the wine so generously donated by Mr. Anthony's. I would also at this time like to thank Kim Calvert. Kim has been very generous in thanking her staff, but Kim is the true leader of our ATHENA program, keeps us organized, and ensures that we have an excellent evening that's done with great class and great enthusiasm. And Kim, we want to thank you for all of your work. The inspiration for the ATHENA Award originated in Lansing, Michigan in 1980. It was there that Martha Mayhood Mertz, while serving on the Chamber Board, realized that award programs recognizing working women were few and far between. She mobilized the community, secured sponsors, and the first ATHENA Award was presented in Michigan in 1982. Since that time, more than 7,000 individuals in over 600 communities in 8 different countries have received the ATHENA Award, recognizing their commitment to women. The women we honor tonight are recognized for their career success, their community involvement, and their mentoring of other women. The ATHENA Award here in the Mahoning Valley was first presented in 1990. However, after the 1991 program, the program went into hiatus with the merger of the Youngstown and the Warren Chambers. In 1995, the Athena was reinvented, and the Regional Chamber and the Vindicator joined forces as co-sponsors of the Athena Award Dinner. We're very proud to be a part of that tradition, and again, are so glad that you were able to join us this evening. The ATHENA program is an incredible resource for our past nominees and recipients, creating a strong and valuable network for the professional women in our community. Tonight, we have several past ATHENA Award recipients with us, and we'd like to recognize them. As I call your name, I'd like to ask you to please stand, and if everyone would hold their applause until all of our former recipients have been recognized. You've already met 3 of our recipients seated here at the head table, Dr. Cheryl Figliano, Holly Welch, and attorney Marty Bushy. This is when you're supposed to stand. Also with us this evening, Dr. Laura Meeks, our 2013 ATHENA Award recipient, Karen Abrams, our 2012 recipient, attorney Shauna Latalian, our 2010 recipient, Karen Cohen, our 2008 recipient, Sister Patricia McNicholas, 2005, Marie Izzo Cartwright, our 1991 recipient, and Helen Pays, our very first recipient in 1990. Please join me in a round of applause for these women. Choosing each year's recipient is always a difficult decision for the selection committee, which I'd like to say right now I am not a part of. Nor am I a part of the scholarship committee. I just need to offer those disclaimers. But it's also a very enjoyable and rewarding task. We'd like to ask all of our past nominees from prior years to please stand so we can recognize all of the professional women in our community who have joined us this evening. So all past nominees. You'll hear throughout the evening brief introductions of all of our nominees, and we'll tell you more about them. There are quotes in your program. There will be brief videos, as well as introductions of them as they come forward. To capture a bit of additional insight via video, we did ask our nominees a few questions, and throughout the evening, we will share parts of these interviews with you. I'd like to direct your attention to the screen for the viewing of the first segment.
My first job was at Baskin & Robbins in the Boardman Plaza when I was 15 years old. I used to scoop the ice cream and I made $1.90 an hour.
My first job actually was working with my mom. I had gone to YSU nursing school and she decided to help me by getting a job cleaning people's houses. And even though it was hard, I came home every weekend and helped her clean because I just felt somewhat obligated to really help her since she was helping me.
My very first job was when I was 5 years old, and I would go to work with my father at his lumber yard. It was on the south side of Youngstown, and my big project would be to pick up nails and sort them and sweep the floors and do whatever it is that he needed done on a Saturday morning. And my big treat for that would be he would take me to the old Mr. Wheeler's for glazed donuts afterwards.
My very first job, now I'm going to be dating myself, was with, when you were in high school, they had this program called Jingle Bells, where you were sophomores or juniors and you got to work downtown at one of the department stores. And I worked at the blouse department in McKelvey's.
My very first job was I worked at the DeRusso Sausage Factory in Youngstown. In Youngstown, they had high school kids that would come and make the boxes that they would then pack the sausage in. And then sometimes when there were workers that weren't able to work, I worked on the line, actually putting together all the sausage and shipping it off. So yeah, that's my first job.
My very first job was actually in a donut shop. And I started out just taking care of the customers, and within a week or two, I had sole responsibility for it. Filled the donuts, overfilled the donuts, cooked, closed up, opened up. So it was a lot for 3 months in the summertime.
Well, my first job out of college was a shoe buyer, and that has stayed with me a long time because I have a passion for shoes. Everybody works hard in retail merchandising. So it taught me strong work ethic and profit and loss. So they give you money to buy at the beginning of the season. You have to bring more back at the end of the season.
My first job was working at Southside Hospital. I worked in the diet kitchen. I would take down the trays in the evening, and if they were all gone by the time I got there, because I would also stock the floor with ice cream and little snacks for the kids and the other people.
My very first job in healthcare was at Jamestown General Hospital in Jamestown, New York. Actually, I started trying to get this job the summer in between my junior and senior year of college. And I went and applied for anything the hospital had to offer, didn't hear a thing back, and went home on Thanksgiving break and Christmas break and went to the CEO's office, and again didn't get a call back. So I found out that the chairman of the board was the mayor of Jamestown, and I went back on spring break and went to the mayor's office and camped out and waited for him to come in. And when he did, I stood up and introduced myself. Lo and behold, the next day the phone rang, and the HR department called and offered me my first full-time job in a hospital. It was an internship. I earned a minimum wage, and it was $3.25.
Our commitment on the Athena Committee is to support women at all levels of their career, whether they're in their professional careers now or whether they're in high school and college and investing in their education to further their careers. 8 years ago, the Athena Committee decided to establish a scholarship to help young women further their goals of higher education. And to promote the education, we established the scholarship with the Community Foundation of the Mahoning Valley, and it's named the Athena Scholarship Fund, and we're able to award a deserving student a $1,500 scholarship to continue her education. In addition to the scholarship, I'm pleased to announce that this year's recipient will also receive an iPad and accessories donated by Lee and Bonnie Deutsch Boardman, and we thank Lee and Bonnie for their continued support of our Athena Scholarship. Here to introduce our 2015 Athena Scholarship recipient is the president of the Community Foundation of the Mahoning Valley, Sherry Harrell.
Good evening. It is my distinct honor to present this year's Athena Scholarship to a deserving young woman who clearly stood out among the applicants. The requirements of the scholarship state that an applicant must be a resident of the Mahoning Valley and a high school senior planning to attend Youngstown State University, Eastern Gateway Community College, or Kent State University's regional campuses, or a student currently enrolled at those institutions. The recipient of the Athena Scholarship should demonstrate initiative and excellence in her educational or work pursuits, have a proven record of community involvement and service, and commitment to and experience in mentoring others. As you are about to hear, our recipient has excelled at all levels. If you attended this event a couple of years ago, then she may look familiar to you too, since she was named one of our 2 Anthem Scholarship recipients. We were impressed with her efforts and accomplishments then, and she has certainly achieved even more since she stood on the stage in 2013. After graduating as valedictorian from Jackson Milton High School, Brianna Scott went on to study accounting at Youngstown State University, where she has a 4.0 grade point average. Her academic achievements include being named to the YSU President's List and Dean's List, and she is a member of the college's honor program, Sigma Alpha Lambda, National Society of Collegiate Scholars, and Beta Gamma Sigma. Brianna is also involved in the Williamson College of Business Administration Leaders Program and Enactus. Through her organizational involvement, Brianna has taken part in many community activities, including volunteering at Angels for Animals and the Mahoning County Dog Pound, assisting in the neighborhood cleanup with the Youngstown Neighborhood Development Corporation, and participating in the food fight against hunger. Hoping to educate her fellow students about a very significant issue that has affected people across the country, Brianna is working to establish a shooting sports club at YSU. She said she was inspired to organize such a club after the recent accidental gun deaths in the news, including a woman who was shot by her 2-year-old son at a retail store in Idaho. Her primary goal is to ensure that students learn about gun safety, including proper handling, carrying, and storage, in an effort to prevent accidental shootings. Brianna intends to graduate summa cum laude and pursue her master's degree as she begins a career as a certified public accountant. As an experienced horse rider and former and longtime member of the Horse and Rider 4-H Club, she also hopes to open her own therapeutic horse riding center one day. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, please welcome our 2015 Athena Scholarship recipient, Miss Brianna Scott.
Good evening. As she mentioned, my name is Brianna Scott, and I'm an accounting major and just finished my sophomore year at Youngstown State University, and I am incredibly honored to be with you all here tonight. I would like to begin by thanking the Community Foundation of Mahoning Valley, the Regional Chamber, and the Athena Committee, and all the other sponsors who make this program and this scholarship possible. I was very happy and appreciative when Kim called me to inform me that I was the recipient this year of the scholarship, and I feel privileged and touched to receive your support in my post-secondary educational goals. I was lucky enough, as she mentioned, to attend the event here 2 years ago when I received the Anthem Blue Cross and Blue Shield Scholarship. That night, I truly realized that there were so many influential women in our valley, and I made the decision that night that I would continue to look up to these women and work hard to try to make them proud. When I think of influential women in my life, I see them all as leaders. And as Tom Peters said, leaders don't create followers, leaders create more leaders. I've had many wonderful mentors throughout my life, and they did just this by encouraging me to become a better person and achieve the goals that I would set before myself. Some of them include a high school cheerleader when I was in elementary school, Caitlin. She helped me throughout cheerleading to perfect my moves and routines. And then another young woman, Kate, when I was in 4-H, was an older youth and captain of the county drill team who helped me develop my skills for me to take her place after she aged out of 4-H. Tressa, who was a 4-H advisor over the years, taught me to continue to do what I love and always give back to the community without thinking about it, because no matter what, there's always people in more need than yourself. And then Betty Jo Licata, the Dean of the Williamson College of Business Administration at Youngstown State University, has provided me, along with all of my other fellow business students, with multiple opportunities to grow as young professionals, and sets a very good example for us. As these women showed me how to encourage people and essentially how to become a leader without directly explaining it, I'd like to think of myself as following in their footsteps by mentoring girls younger or less experienced than myself. As a high school cheerleader, I helped a younger elementary school cheerleader with her routine. And then in 4-H, I became captain of the county drill team for several years and trained my successor after that. And I still go back to this day to help them right before the county fair. I've also tried to give back to the community without seeing it as work and more as it's the least that I could do. I plan to continue this pattern in my next pursuit, which she mentioned was the shooting sports club. With the increase in accidental deaths due to improper firearm safety, I felt like I had to do something about it, even if it was a small amount. Along with going to school, working, and being involved on campus, my hobby is shooting sports. I enjoy archery, long-distance shooting, handgun target practice, and bow hunting. The first thing I learned when I started shooting was firearm safety, and still to this day I believe that was the most important thing that I have learned. I am truly saddened by everything that I've seen in the news lately regarding the improper handling of firearms. Like she mentioned, was the death of Veronica Rutledge of Blackfoot, Idaho, who died in Walmart because of her 2-year-old son with her own concealed carry weapon. I understand it was truly an accident, but my thoughts were that if she was carrying properly, he would have never had access to her firearm. I also know that there's been an increase in people who have obtained their concealed carry weapon license, CCW, and completely understand their desire to be able to carry. In order to attain their license, they needed a 12-hour course to obtain their certificate of competency. Personally, I don't feel 12 hours is enough to thoroughly understand gun safety, how to properly transport and carry, and to be proficient enough in shooting to be confident if a situation were to arise. I have seen people who have had their CCW not carrying properly or improperly transporting their weapon. And in this is only asking for additional accidents like Veronica's. In those cases, I attempted to explain to them how they should properly carry in hopes to avoid another accident. Since there is such an interest in the public having their CCWs, I was curious to know if Youngstown State University had any version of a shooting sports club to educate the students about safety. After doing some research, I realized that they didn't, which led me to start a club. The Youngstown State University Shooting Sports Club is registered and will have our first meeting in the fall under the advisement of Joe Conroy. Joe and I have already had meetings regarding plans for the club and goals and objectives. I have my officers in place and several students who are interested in joining. The club's focus will be on archery, handguns, and rifles, with the emphasis on safety, proper handling, proper carrying, storage, and practicing shooting. I believe that if this club manages to save at least one life, all the work associated with it will be completely worth it. And again, to wrap it up, I'd like to thank the Community Foundation of Mahoning Valley, the Regional Chamber, the ATHENA Committee, and all the other sponsors for offering this scholarship. And would like to congratulate all the nominees for the ATHENA Award tonight. It is women like you that inspire young women like me to strive for excellence in their career and personal lives. Thank you.
And I think it's safe to say it's students like Brianna that inspire the rest of us. All of that in a 4.0 accounting major, too. Brianna, we're very proud of your accomplishments. When we presented the ATHENA Scholarship at this event 3 years ago, John Cooper, Vice President of Sales for Ohio at Anthem Blue Cross and Blue Shield, a longtime supporter of the ATHENA program, sat in our crowd and was wowed by the presentation of the ATHENA Scholarship and the accomplishments and remarks of the recipient. That night, he vowed to help even more young women pursue their educational goals, and tonight we're honored to present again 2 additional Anthem scholarships in the amount of $1,250 each. Please welcome to present these awards Jane Peterson, Anthem's Vice President of Individual and 2 to 99 Ohio Group Sales.
Good evening, and I am happy to be able to step in for John as he made his way back to Maine. And Anthem is very pleased to be part of this again. It's such an important part of this community, and Youngstown is an important community to Anthem. And so I am very excited to announce the 2 recipients of our scholarships this year. Our first recipient is Nicolette Kritzelis. Nicolette is a Poland Seminary High School senior. She plans to attend Youngstown State University after her graduation this year to study biology or Spanish. If her accomplishments are any indication of her future at YSU, we know it'll be a bright one. Nicolette is skilled in both academics and athletics with a 3.5 grade point average. She's a member of the National Honor Society and captain of the school's academic challenge team. Nicolette is also an All-Ohio academic track athlete and a 3-year letter winner in track and field. She set the school record in discus and was named the Division II state runner-up in discus in 2014. Nicolette was also the highest point winner on the pole and track team in 2014 and was selected as the women's field MVP in 2012 and 2013. As part of her extracurricular activities, Nicolette is involved in the Greek Orthodox Youth Association and regularly volunteers at St. John's Church events such as fish fries and holiday functions and the rescue mission. She has been volunteering at the pole and track camp every summer since 7th grade, teaching children how to throw shot put and discus. Nicolette's track coach and teachers say she is hardworking, intelligent, driven to learn, and full of inquiry and the desire to problem solve. They also note her passion and commitment to working with the younger student athletes to educate them and help develop their skills. Ladies and gentlemen, please congratulate our Anthem Scholarship recipient, Ms. Nicolette Kritzelis.
Well, I did not know I was supposed to have a speech ready, but I'll do the best I can. I just wanted to say I am completely and so honored to have been able to receive this award. There are so many women who are influential in my life. My family is full of women who I look up to. My mother, who has been so nice to have raised us and be a stay-at-home mother. That is a big honor for me, and I hope to raise my kids as well as she raised us. My aunt, who is a doctor, who I really would love to live up to and pursue after college to medical school. If she could do it, I can do it. And well, I guess that's it.
Thank you, Nicolette, and congratulations again on all your achievements. Our second scholarship recipient is Megan Giuliano. She's a sophomore at Youngstown State University and hopes to work as a certified public accountant after graduation in 2017. Until then, she continues to contribute to the community and the university. An active member of several campus organizations, including Beta Alpha Psi, Williamson College of Business Administration's Business Leaders Program and Business Leaders Committee, and the Emerging Leaders Program. Megan has volunteered her time with numerous community service projects. She is part of the YSU Big Little program to mentor incoming freshmen and the Penguin Pen Pals program to correspond with a student from Harding Elementary School in Youngstown. She's also volunteered with Habitat for Humanity, the Youngstown Neighborhood Development Corporation, and Shantytown, in which she stayed outside in a cardboard box for 24 hours to raise awareness for homelessness. And she's used her experience in accounting to offer volunteer income tax preparation services. Megan says being a mentor is vital to her growth as a professional and individual. As a peer tutor of accounting and economics at YSU, she's counseled students in choosing a major, developing a schedule, and practicing time management, as well as finding career and internship opportunities. Megan plans to enroll in summer classes and gain internship experience to be eligible for the Larisha School of Accounting and Finance's 4+1 program, which would enable her to take graduate courses as an undergraduate. She will also pursue a master's in accountancy degree from YSU. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Anthem Scholarship recipient, Ms. Megan Giuliano.
Good evening, Regional Chamber members, the Vindicator, ATHENA Award nominees, sponsors, and guests. I am honored and grateful to be among so many extraordinary women and thankful for the generosity of the ATHENA Award program and Anthem Blue Cross and Blue Shield. The financial award will contribute to my education as I enter my junior year at Youngstown State University, majoring in accounting. This scholarship will allow me to concentrate on immersing myself in my education, helping to position myself for internship involvement and advancement in my coursework. Through my experience as a tutor at Youngstown State, I have had the opportunity to counsel students not only on the subjects they are learning, but various facets of their academic careers. I have also had the pleasure of being mentored. Several teachers, professionals, family members, and fellow students have inspired me and shaped me into the person I am. This fall, I plan to implement a mentoring program that will connect students from all business majors to community professionals, so students can have the opportunity to receive guidance on their future careers and strengthen their confidence and enthusiasm. In this way, my mentoring experiences have inspired me to create a program which will benefit fellow students as well as involve the community. I myself am a proud resident and citizen of the Mahoning Valley. My hope is that we can utilize the ideas and skills of our people to enhance the area's reputation for excellence. So far in my college career, I have had the pleasure of meeting many of the most selflessly dedicated and truly intelligent people I have ever encountered. My vision, along with the visions of those who care deeply about our valley, cannot be realized without the backbone of a community of great minds and devoted hearts. I believe it should be a principal goal to celebrate the Mahoning Valley and cultivate growth and distinction for our area. Being honored as a recipient of the ATHENA and Anthem Blue Cross and Blue Shield Scholarship will serve as my gateway to achieve greater goals and objectives, and I sincerely appreciate your kind generosity. Thank you.
Congratulations again to Megan and Nicolette and to Anthem. Thank you very much for the continued investment in our students' education. Before we begin the introduction of the nominees, if you would again turn your attention to the screens and learn a little bit more about some of our nominees.
My inspiration in life is my husband. And the reason why I admire him is because I just admire his commitment to church, to God, to family, but most of all to the community. You know, he's really, he'll do anything he can to help the community of Warren.
I'm a person of faith, so my inspiration comes from God. I just, every single day, I'm just so thankful and I'm so blessed for all the blessings I've received in my life.
That would be my grandmother, Ruth Boardman, and she's the person who instilled all my values in me when I was younger and taught me to be thankful for the things that I have, to work hard for the things I want, to always be gracious, and to give back to the community, and that charity isn't something that you just put on your resume, it's something you do from the heart because you truly believe in it.
For me, it's got to be my grandparents collectively. You know, my grandfather had a significant impact on me. My mother's dad, George Silvestri, and you know, a small business guy. He later in life had Alzheimer's, and my grandparents were married for 60 years. And I'll tell you, you know, true love is taking care of somebody who cannot take care of themselves.
In both life and work, my inspiration, it's a group. It's my whole family, my parents, my grandparents. I'm an only child. I was brought up in a family business and wasn't really sheltered from much, and they have done everything that's made me the person I am today. I look at them and the way they've worked so hard and their work ethic, and I owe everything to them.
I would say my father. My father believed in education, and he had a scholarship for engineering at Youngstown State, but it was during the Depression and he didn't have the money. So he liked science, math, and that type of thing. And my mother loved the arts. She would take us to Butler Art Gallery on Saturdays and Sundays. So that was a combination. So I learned to be, you know, sort of well-rounded.
Well, I have to say my daughter and all the mothers and people that have children with autism and deal with them on a daily basis, because They are just truly inspiring people because it is so hard to deal with the problems that come along with autism.
I've always said that my grandma, who I call Nana, it's my dad's mom, she's my inspiration. She passed away in 2003, and she just embodies what what a good person is. You know, she's just caring and loving, but straight to the point, and no bones about right and wrong, and she's welcoming and warm and treats people kindly and is accepting and tolerant, and she's just all of the things that you can maybe take from a bunch of different people and build one person, and she's it.
I think my biggest inspiration would be my stepdad. Not necessarily career driven, but he was a top salesman all his life, and he taught me, no matter what field I chose, to always remember the human element with people, and everything else will work out.
As a part of the nomination process, we receive volumes of information about all of our nominees, and we can't share all of that with you this evening, but as we introduce each of the nominees, we will highlight some of their accomplishments and their involvements. As their names are called, the Chamber's Chairwoman of the Board of Directors, Attorney Marty Bushy, and our speaker, Beth Mooney, will present each nominee with a certificate, reduced version of the full-page ad that was in the Vindicator, proclamations from U.S. Senator Rob Portman and Ohio Secretary of State John Husted, and a special gift. The nominees will be introduced in 3 groups, so if you'd please hold your applause until the end of each group. And I'd now like to invite Marty and Beth to please position themselves, and we'll begin the introduction of our nominees. Our first nominee is Amanda Armini. As a professor of accounting at Hiram College, she serves as a strong female role model for other women in the mathematics field. She began her career as a CPA with Ernst & Young before taking her position at Hiram, where she's been instrumental in developing new courses. Amanda's also established curriculum through the University Partnership Program with Lorain and Cuyahoga County's community colleges. While at Hiram, she's received the Martin Award for going above and beyond to ensure the success of her students. She sits on the school's Judiciary Board, Assessment and Scholarship Committees, and has organized several events for accounting majors, including the Ohio Society of CPA's Cleveland Accounting Show. Amanda serves as a faculty advisor for the Student-Run Ventures program, which enables students to practice leadership and entrepreneurial thinking while experiencing business processes related to launching and running a small business. Jeannie Albel. Jeannie began her career with Mercy Health in 1988 as an administrative resident, quickly moving through the ranks to achieve her current position as president of St. Elizabeth Boardman Health Center in Youngstown. Through her leadership, Mercy Health has expanded significantly with multiple additions, including St. Elizabeth Boardman, which now employs more than 800 people and has gross revenue of $531 million. The facility has garnered recognition for quality, safety, and patient care, including the Outstanding Patient Experience Award from Health Grades, given only to the top 15% of the nation's hospitals. Jeannie's also made great strides to improve access to health care for the underserved, having implemented programs such as Lifeline for prenatal services and the Medication Mission Program. She's working to reduce infant mortality rates through the Mahoning Valley Birth Equity Outcome Project. Jeannie has served on the boards of the American Red Cross of the Mahoning Valley, Hospice of the Valley, Habitat for Humanity, and the Orthopedic Surgery Center. Jennifer Bond. In her role as Director of Comprehensive Audit Prevention Services at American Audit Prevention Services, Jennifer strives to increase the profitability of independent community pharmacies across the country while enabling them to remain viable in the business community. Since the company's inception 3 years ago, membership has nearly doubled and millions of dollars have been retained by pharmacies. As a member of the National Community Pharmacy Association, PSAO Advisory Committee, a National Council of Prescription Drug Programs, she frequently advises legislators regarding proposed bills affecting pharmacies and works to provide continuing education programs to the industry. As a U.S. Navy veteran, Jennifer has served as president of the North Coast Waves Unit 21 since 2012, providing assistance to women veterans. She was selected as the public relations chair for the national organization, Military Women Across the Nation, and is senior vice commander of the United Veterans Council of Youngstown. She is vice chair of the Ohio Department of Veterans Services Women Veterans Advisory Committee. State Senator Capri Cafaro has worked tirelessly to support her constituents since being elected to the 32nd District of the Ohio Senate in 2007. Now entering her 9th year of service, she has established a record of legislative effectiveness and leadership, advocating for economic growth, health care, and victims' rights. In 2009, she was elected Minority Leader of the Ohio Senate and has been on the front lines of some of the toughest budget negotiations. She's led the fight to protect collective bargaining rights of public employees, implemented Tourism Ohio, and established a revitalization district for the largest city in the area to help grow small businesses. State Senator Cafaro has authored and sponsored several laws, including Ohio's Medicaid reform and the law that establishes the protocol to clear the rape kit backlog in Ohio. Having received numerous awards, including Legislator of the Year, State Senator Cafaro was also named the Ohio Home Care and Hospice Association's Hero in 2010 and 2011. Shelley Criswell. Shelley began her career in the catering business in high school, working as a server and kitchen staff member at Colonial Catering. She climbed the ranks and eventually purchased the business, renaming it A La Carte Catering in 1996. In 2002, Shelley purchased a dining hall in Canfield, where the business is located today. She quickly expanded, catering multiple events each day. With 32 employees and a vast menu, A La Carte is one of the most successful catering businesses in the region. Shelley has received Scores Recognition Award and the Kiwanis Club of Western Mahoning County's Outstanding Service Award. She serves as an academic tutor and is a founding member of the Tri-County Networking Association, an intimate group of small business owners who meet to share ideas and improve their leadership and business strategies. Shelley also served on the Mahoning County Career and Technical Center's Culinary Arts Advisory Board and coached students at the student-operated restaurant, The Bistro, located at the school. Please join me in giving a round of applause to our first group of nominees.
For our second group, Rebecca Gerson, Deputy Law Director for the City of Youngstown, began her career in 2011 as a part-time employee tasked with reviewing workers' compensation matters. She was promoted to First Assistant Law Director in 2012 and reviews matters related to hydraulic fracturing, labor negotiations, and more. In 2014, Rebecca helped the city reach contract agreements with all of its unions without work stoppages. And as a result of her efforts with workers' compensation, the city is credit rated by the Ohio Bureau for the first time in nearly 20 years. Rebecca previously worked as an assistant prosecutor in Mahoning County, an acting judge and magistrate at Girard Municipal Court. She is a part-time instructor at Youngstown State University's Ohio Peace Officers Training Academy and serves on the board of the trustees for the Butler Institute of American Art and the advisory board for St. Elizabeth Health Center School for Nurse Anesthetists. Rebecca was a top 5 MVP honoree in 2005 in the 40 Under 40 Awards. Denise Gorski, Director of Athletics at Boardman Local High Schools, is the first female athletic director in the district history. But it's no surprise, given her accomplishments while a teacher and coach at Boardman High School. Denise served as head coach of the girls' track team for 34 years before accepting the athletic director position. During that time, she led the team to more than 50 various championships. She has received numerous honors and accolades, including being chosen to coach the Ohio Senior All-Star Team for the Midwest Meet of Champions. She also received several Coach of the Year awards. As athletic director, Denise is helping to rewrite the department's drug policy and is responsible for the development of the department's website. She is also on the committee to complete the new Boardman football stadium. Denise serves as chair and treasurer of the Boardman Township Park District's board and is a member of the school district's Hall of Fame committee. Area Agency on Aging 11 External Control Monitor, Mary Halfacre, first joined the organization in the 1970s as a long-term care ombudsman and was among the first 6 employees hired to implement statewide home and community-based services as an alternative to nursing home care. Mary received several complaints about nursing home care and found the cause was untrained staff and enforced regulations. She was selected to write questions for the National League of Nursing to test home health aides with the goal of providing education and improving quality care. She was elected Administrative Vice President of the National Citizens Coalition for Nursing Home Reform Board and advocated for an increase in personal needs allowance for nursing home residents. Her passion for health aging was cultivated as she worked to develop area games for the Senior Olympics in 1980, and her role led to participation in the Ohio Senior Olympics and induction into the Ohio Senior Olympic Hall of Fame. Mary was named YWCA Woman of the Year in 1998. As a senior sales representative with Teva Pharmaceuticals, Michelle Herschel was provided many of the Valley's physicians and pharmacists with the necessary knowledge of her company's products, enabling them to meet their patients' needs through her 14-year career. Michelle has consistently exceeded her quotas and expectations, leading her territory, which was once bottom ranked, to second place regionally. Michelle herself has consistently ranked within the top 25 sales reps in her region, ranking 3rd in 2010 and earning recognition for being in the top 5% of the national sales force. At Teva, she made it her goal to ensure women move up through the ranks as an active member of the Women at Teva group. The Vice President of the Youngstown Roadrunners Club, Michelle is also the creator and race director of the Carrie Walsh Jones Run for the Lung, which is a 5K race to raise money for lung cancer research. To date, 6 races resulted in $15,000 in donations. Electron microscopy may not sound glamorous, but Carol Jean Hurt's work in that field has led to numerous advancements and helped researchers worldwide make product and process improvements. Carol is the Vice President, co-owner, and head of microscopy services at Materials Research Laboratories, where her skills are helping to improve the performance of LASIK surgery techniques by characterizing the incisions made by state-of-the-art lasers on test cornea materials. Carol began work in electron microscopy when it was a relatively new venture for a woman. Images she took in the 1970s and 80s were used in television commercials for Protein 21 and on the packaging for the Hair Fixer by L'Oreal. Her work on knife sharpening was featured in Popular Science magazine, and she has continued to develop novel methods for imaging samples. Carol serves as an executive board member on Caslow Corporation's Board of Trustees and volunteers at ASM International Teachers Camp, co-sponsored by Youngstown State University, to assist school educators in promoting STEM fields. When Jerry Kozar learned of her grandson's autism diagnosis many years ago, she became, and today remains, a champion of the autism community, fighting for funding for programs and research. Jerry, along with the Raschuti and Rubino families, started a summer program for children with autism in 1995. Today, the Rich Center for Autism serves 70 students annually at 3 locations in Mahoning County. As co-chair of the Rich Center, she serves on several fundraising committees, including the Parr Memorial Golf Tournament and the Napa Valley to Mahoning Valley Wine Taste. She has been a trustee for the Easter Seals of Mahoning and Trumbull and Columbiana counties and a member of the Angels of Easter Seals, co-chairing the group's signature events. Through her service to the Easter Seals, Jerry has helped raise more than $3 million for the organization. In 2001, she received the Woman of the Year award from the YWCA. Prior to her work with the Rich Center, Jerry had been a nurse for 29 years. We please have a round of applause for our second group of nominees. Before we meet the final group, I'd like to ask you to turn your attention to the screens once again.
My goal for my 50th birthday was to participate in an amateur bodybuilding show, and I did it. That was one long year of starvation and working out extra hard, but I actually did it.
I am a Turner Classic Movies junkie, so I love black and white movies, and if I could, I would spend every day at home on the couch with a bag of potato chips watching classic movies from the 1940s and 1950s.
I was president of my sorority at Kent State University, the Alpha Phi chapter. I was selected in my senior year for that position, and in my junior year I was the pledge trainer, and both of those were elected positions of leadership.
I love making pies, cream pies in particular. Have done some of the entering into the fairs around my district, etc. And so about 2 years ago I decided that I was going to start a pie blog called Humble Pie. Because it's also a great classic rock band from the 70s. So I have a pie blog, and you can get your recipe of the week every week. We also have a Facebook page, Humble Pie the Blog, and it's a fun outlet for me.
I am a little bit of a science fiction and fantasy geek. Because I like science, I have a tendency to follow those science fiction shows and like to break outside of the norm and watch some fantasy now and then.
I used to be a hunter, a bow hunter. I like to shoot bows. My boyfriend, who's my husband now, way back when in 1989, he was shooting, so he got me a bow and we started shooting together. We were hunting, and then we joined an archery league, and then he didn't do the archery league anymore. I would go by myself with all these guys and shoot archery.
A lot of people don't know that I am a singer, and I have been singing since I was about 4 years old. My dad was a pastor and always made sure that I sang before his sermon. I went to Lordstown High School and I sang at every basketball game.
And now for our final group. Katrina Oliver is the lean materials strategy plant lead at the General Motors Lordstown complex, where she is responsible for developing and implementing processes for current and future assembly to improve quality, increase productivity, and reduce manpower and costs. She is also actively involved with the plant's Women in Manufacturing group, working to launch a formal women's mentoring program within the plant. During her many years at General Motors, Katrina assisted in the launch of the C7 Corvette in 2013, problem-solving throughput and quality assurance issues, and received the GM Team Award for that launch. She also received GM Group Leader of the Quarter awards twice when she worked as a set part strategy engineer. Katrina established and leads the New Freedom Missionary Baptist Church Youth Choir and also started the Reverend Morris M. Reed Scholarship Fund, which provides yearly scholarships and Bibles to graduating seniors pursuing secondary education. She is also the Minister of Giving at the Community Church of God in Christ. As Senior Vice President of Retail Lending at Home Savings and Loan in Youngstown, Barbara Radis has guided the financial institution through numerous changes and advancements. Barbara, who leads more than half of the employees at the bank, worked to restructure the institution over the past 4.5 years, leading to greater efficiencies and a model for growth. At the same time, she has managed to create a stronger sales culture, growing revenues and deposits, and creating better products and services for customers. Barbara sits on the Home Savings Charitable Foundation Board, which gifts more than $700,000 annually. She has also been the executive sponsor of many impactful initiatives that have benefited the community, including Home Savings 50,000 Meals Project, Random Acts of Kindness, and Pause for a Cause, which raised more than $37,000 for local animal shelters and humane societies. Barbara was recognized as Manager of the Year in 1997 while Vice President and District Manager at U.S. Bank in Cleveland and consistently ranked among top district managers. Christine Snipes, a physical therapist at Hillside Rehabilitation Hospital, is responsible for treating patients with a variety of diagnoses, including spinal cord injury and stroke, but her work has also led to the enhancement of patient care, customer satisfaction, and the growth of the hospital. Christine has made it her goal to educate the community on healthy living with free health screenings and education through her work on the hospital's stroke committee. One of her greatest accomplishments was the coordination of the Power to End Stroke Health Fair. Christine is active with the American Heart Association, an organization that is dear to her since she lost her daughter to a heart attack 6 years ago. She participates in the Heart Walk annually and on the Heart Association's community panel. Christine was honored at the 2015 YSU Batante College of Health and Human Services 6th Annual Alumni Recognition Dinner and was awarded the 2014 Hillside Community Service Award, as well as Hillside's Employee of the Year Award in 2012. Cheryl Strother, Director of Nursing at the Warren City Health Department, has more than 30 years of experience in the health field. Despite being the only full-time nurse employed at the public health clinic since 2009, Cheryl has maintained the integrity of the clinic and developed numerous programs for the city. As a result of a grant written by Cheryl in 2012, more than 200 people have been tested, counseled for, or educated about HIV. She also developed a hepatitis C testing program that allowed individuals without insurance to receive testing and education. She maintains the clinic's free child immunization program, as well as the Ohio Department of Health's school-based dental sealant program for children in 3 counties. In 2014, Cheryl was a March of Dimes Nurse of the Year Award nominee, received the Shiro of Health Award from the Youngstown Office on Minority Health and the Ohio Commission on Minority Health, and was inducted into the Trumbull County African American Achievers Hall of Fame. It is through Bonnie Wilson's fundraising efforts that Some Play Safe and Solace Center is able to have a wider reach in the community, positively impacting more women and families. The Director of Domestic Violence and Visitation Services for Trumbull County has been diligent in her efforts to secure funding, applying for grants and receiving new funds from organizations such as the Robin McGraw and Mary Kay Foundations. Through her efforts, she was one of less than 100 chosen to attend a seminar at the Dr. Phil Studio in Hollywood. The funds have allowed the center to create a children's playroom, research center, and library to help women find employment options and housing opportunities. Bonnie serves as a board member at Lake Vista of Cortland and Champion Presbyterian Church, and was president of the Trumbull County Housing Collaborative, as well as a member of the Ohio Domestic Violence Network. She received the Path to Leadership Award from the Portage County Safety Council and Citizen of the Year Award from the City of Niles. Can we please have a round of applause for our third group of nominees? And I would ask you to turn your attention to the screens one last time to gain final insight from this year's phenomenal group of women.
My advice to other women would be to challenge yourself every day to be the best that you can be, because you will inspire others and you will have lasting impacts for your life. In my own experience with coaching athletes, I found that the more that I taught them about hard work and dedication and perseverance to reach their goals, they in turn had success with that. But when they had success, it motivated me to want to be a better coach, a better professional for them.
Oh, I think it's speak up and often. Find your voice. So many times in meetings, women are sitting back and taking notes, and you're not leading at that point. So find your voice. It's easy to find your voice if you have the knowledge, have the care and concern for the people you're leading, and you want to make a difference.
My best piece of advice for professional women is to know what you're good at, know what your talent is, and to work at that. We don't have to be all things to all people, and we can't. But if we're resourceful enough to surround ourselves with people who balance our gifts, for example, I run a hospital, but I'm not a clinician. But I'm surrounded by excellent nurses and physicians and ancillary staff, and together as a team, if you know how to balance the strengths, you can accomplish great things.
Avoid people that are negative. You want to surround yourself with people who encourage you to dream, who encourage you to strive for your goals, and who are positive.
If someone tells you you can't do it, just prove them wrong and go ahead and do it.
My best piece of advice is to stay as you are. Don't change for anyone. Don't let anyone change you. Continue to be yourself.
My best advice for a professional woman today would be to remember that you are not your career, but your career is part of who you are, and remain and keep a constant balance in your life, because without that balance, you'll lose yourself in your business.
Well, we could tell you who our 2015 ATHENA Award recipients, who our recipient is right now, but we won't, because there would be absolutely no fun in that whatsoever. However, we have been very eagerly anticipating our keynote address since we confirmed in October that Beth Mooney would be joining us this evening. So without further ado, please welcome to introduce Ms. Mooney, our longtime ATHENA program sponsor, KeyBank, and its retail sales leader, Matt Weiner.
All right, good evening. It's an honor to be here tonight with so many talented professionals, and congratulations to all the nominees. Terrific to be here to see this. I especially want to welcome our Key for Women clients who have joined us this evening. Key for Women is a program established 10 years ago by Key Bank for women in business. At Key, our purpose is to help clients and communities thrive. And as the regional leader for Key in East Ohio for retail banking, I know that our team members are working hard to do that every day here in the Mahoning Valley. Several of our team members are here tonight. And on behalf of them, I will say it's a privilege to work with all of you and to be able to partner with you in your financial dreams. Just as we do with Key for Women, tonight we're celebrating women who are true leaders. Before I do that, and we're honoring professional women, I wanted to acknowledge potentially the elephant in the room right now, which is I am not a professional woman. You may have noticed as you look up here. I am, however, very honored to be here, and I feel I'm qualified to introduce our keynote speaker tonight for a couple of reasons. One, I work for a company with strong, successful female leaders at all levels, and this starts with our CEO. Key has consistently been recognized for its commitment to diversity, and I have watched Beth Mooney lead this commitment throughout her time at Key. She talks the talk, she also walks the walk. The second reason that I'm proud to be up here is that I am the father of two 11-year-old girls. And I often reflect on what it'll be like for them in their careers, whether it be corporate America or whatever path they choose to take. And when I think about that, I think about them being able to work in an inclusive environment where diversity of thought is respected and encouraged, and where strong female leaders, there are strong female leaders who can be role models of the strength, drive, and inspiration that it takes to be successful and to make a difference. And I am very fortunate to work for such a place and for such a leader who I now have the pleasure of introducing. In 2011, Beth Mooney became the first female CEO of a top 20 U.S. bank. Prior to that, she was Key Corp's president and chief operating officer. While at Key, Beth has also served as the head of our community bank with a footprint stretching from Maine to Alaska. Before joining Key in 2006, Beth served as senior executive vice president and chief financial officer for AmSouth Bancorp, now Regions, where she ran its banking operations in Tennessee and northern Louisiana. Beth has also completed other line assignments of increasing responsibility at Bank One, Citicorp Real Estate, Hall Financial Group, Republic Bank of Texas, First Republic. At Bank One, she served as regional president in Akron and Dayton, and then as president of Bank One, Ohio, managing major markets throughout the state. So I think, as you can tell from that resume, Beth knows a thing or two about banking. She also knows a thing or two about Ohio and the communities that we serve. But most of all, she knows about leadership. Beth is a real inspiration to me and to all the employees of Key. And tonight, I know that she will inspire you as well. So please join me in welcoming Beth Mooney.
Thank you, Matt, for that kind introduction. And Kim, your early remarks about me as well. If I had any sense, I think I'd say thank you and sit down. But it is indeed my pleasure to be here with you tonight. And I look out and I'm enormously humbled to be in this great audience and this great group of women and men and be able to share this evening with you and, as you mentioned, our team here from Key Bank. I know that I speak for all of us and the thousands of women across our industries who have chosen a career in business, in nonprofit, in communities, in education, in healthcare, in thanking the Regional Chamber in producing the ATHENA Awards. As you said, it's one of the largest and longest standing programs in the country, and I think that is really a testament to the commitment to diversity, inclusion, and greatness in this great Mahoning Valley. And year in and year out, this event shows its commitment to each of us helping expand our circle of influence, to not only celebrate the present, but to create the future for women in business. And to consider that future, I think you first have to acknowledge the present. There are many lists of women to watch or powerful women. Athena, Forbes, Fortune have several of those lists. But these lists show that there are many talented women that are elevating their success and their level of contribution in the business world. And these talented women are not only elevating their careers, they are delivering results in their companies and are significant and productive players in the path and the industries they choose. One thing you need to know about me is I'm an optimist, what I would call a true believer in the extraordinary talented women in my own organization and in many other industries. But I would tell you that the ranks of women in senior level roles, at least in financial services, has been on the decline in recent years. And there was actually an article in an industry publication called The American Banker, where a reporter highlighted that challenge. And she said, how can it be that the fight for gender diversity in senior level roles has lost so much ground? And one of her theses was that, especially post the financial crisis, that managements closed ranks. That they fell back on the people that they knew, the people that they trusted, the ones perhaps they were most comfortable around. And they tended to place their bets on people who they felt most comfortable with or were already in their chairs. And guess what? That meant most of those incumbents were men. So I think she had some interesting observations, and she raised some interesting concerns. But what I'll tell you is I think it's important to acknowledge sometimes that there are a lack of enough women in C-suites or CEOs of Fortune 500 companies or partners in law firms or managers or CEOs of hospitals. Pick your industry. I think it's important to acknowledge that. But what I think is even more important is to transcend it. I don't believe we should get mired in an unproductive rhetoric about how it should be or play the victim about why it isn't. Instead, my challenge to you is how do we collectively overcome it. As I said earlier, I'd like to think of that as being constructively impatient. To do this, we must deliver exceptional performance in our own right, and we must do our part to meet the next generation of women leaders where they are. And I think our part, if you will, is a collective obligation to be purposeful about mentoring, sponsoring, promoting, developing, and placing diverse talent in critical positions. I like to think of that as we carry while we climb. The importance of this kind of coaching and mentoring sponsorship cannot be overstated. But I think we have to be really clear about our own personal lens. We each have our own experiences, and we have followed our own paths to success, including our own first jobs, as we heard from tonight's nominees. So these experiences sometimes include times when we have been excluded or even included because of our gender. And I believe that the next generation of women leaders has grown up in a world vastly different than the one I have experienced. So I'd say we have an opportunity. No, I'd say we have an obligation to transcend our own experiences and to meet them where they are and in the world as it is now, to cast the right shadow and to help them develop the right skills and the right mindset to put them on a productive and successful path. And if I could, I will share briefly, since Kim mentioned it, my first job in the banking industry. I graduated from college summa cum laude in the middle 1970s, so yes, I'm much younger than I look. And when I graduated, people asked me how fast I could type. And my first job in a bank, I was a secretary. We have transformed a world in a generation, and I stand here, I think, with some glass in my hair, and I will tell you, take that experience, I look out on this group, and where were we then and where are we now, and translate that and transcend that forward. I believe the future is bright for these young women leaders, and our role to make it special and make their way forward is important, because I think they live in a world where they believe gender equality is within their grasp, and diversity and inclusion is not what they merely hope for, it's what they expect. And more than ever, I believe they understand that women have real choices. And while there is less overt gender bias and less overt hurdles, there are also still obstacles. While the playing field looks more fair and level, we still have work to do. And as I said, that work to do is to nurture and develop the next generation The scholarships here and the young women receiving those scholarships is a highlight to me of how we can think about the future. And part of what we need to do to pave the way for that future is to continue to deliver exceptional performance in our own right. Exceptional performance that not only builds cachet and credibility for you, but also for all women leaders. And if you're trying to pursue a career in business or setting your sights on starting your own business or to the most senior levels in a company, you have a role to play. And in that vein, I'd like to issue you a challenge, that you pursue your dream with passion, but make sure you define the dream. Be purposeful, take risks, get the credentials you need, and set your sights and see it through. When I think of setting your sights, I'd like to share an example from my own career. Early in my career, as you heard, I worked at Bank One in Columbus, Ohio. I think it's a name that's familiar in this marketplace, and I saw one of my old counterparts, Don Cahigas, was here tonight. When I was at Bank One, a group of us had been to an event at our CEO's home, and when we left, we were abuzz. So we'd been at John McCoy's home, he was our CEO, and we were all abuzz about his wife, Jane McCoy. How lovely she was, what a wonderful hostess she was, how beautiful their home was. And guess what? Everybody wanted to be her. And she was indeed lovely in every way. And in that group, I fell silent. And in anybody who knows me, that doesn't happen very often. But I can tell you what was going through my head was an absolute light bulb moment, because it was a moment that I believe changed my career and changed my life. I realized I didn't want to be Jane McCoy. I wanted to be John McCoy. I wanted to be a CEO, and I wanted to be a CEO of a bank. So I share that story to tell you that at that point in my life, the job looked easier to get than it actually was, and it looked easier to do than it actually is. And the path to the role was anything but clear. It was full of challenges. It was full of moments where the dream seemed possible, and then moments where the dream seemed equally impossible. I took chances. I took on different roles. I moved 9 times in 16 years. I was intentional, but opportunistic. And again, the path was anything but certain. But my life is forever changed because of this role and the choices and risks I took to get here. But I believe I'm doing the work that I was meant to do. And I understand that I must do it well to make the path and the way forward easier for the next woman CEO. And in order to do it well, you must surround yourself with a good team. And in that spirit, I'd like to pause and say a special thanks to the KeyBank team who's here tonight and all of you who are not with us but across the country. I'm both proud and grateful to lead such a talented and diverse group of individuals and in a values-based organization. And I would not be standing here today without their hard work, their dedication, and their support. So I believe as leaders, we should never underestimate that how we conduct ourselves, how we extend ourselves, and how we recognize and reward people matters mightily. And as I said, I wear this job with an extra obligation to do it well for my constituents, which include women in business. We all do. We who are successful in business, I believe, have an obligation to reach down and lift up that next generation of women as they dream and as they stretch for their own success. And we all have a part to play, and I promise I will do my part to make that possible. So I'd like to close once again by offering my congratulations and those of the entire KeyBank team to tonight's nominees and the ATHENA Award winner. Your stories inspire me. Your success is a testament to your character, your path, and how you set your sights and saw it through. So with that, I'd like to say thank you for allowing me to be part of this grand evening in this lovely venue. And for everyone here tonight, I wish you all well, and thank you again.
Beth, thank you so much for your inspiring words, serving as a role model for all of us and reinforcing what we do both within our Athena Committee program as well as what we do here in the Mahoning Valley. And on behalf of all of us, we have a gift of appreciation. Thank you very much. So now we've come to the moment you've all been waiting for. It's my honor and privilege to announce our 2015 ATHENA Award recipient. The selection of our recipient each year is a difficult one, and you've heard many of the amazing and proud accomplishments of each of our 16 nominees. These women all embody the true spirit of Athena, but tonight we will name one as the ATHENA Award recipient. Our recipient has been very driven throughout her career and has worked tirelessly to help those in our community. In fact, her significant contributions have led to much recognition over the years for her organization. Our recipient began working in her current place of employment nearly 30 years ago, hired in as an administrative resident. She would move through the ranks of administration until becoming president of Mercy Health's St. Elizabeth Boardman Hospital. Jeannie Albo planned from the ground up the multi-phased evolution of the St. Elizabeth Boardman campus that includes the Cancer Center, Emergency and Diagnostic Center, Wellness Center, St. Elizabeth Boardman Health Center, and the addition of the $100 million second tower that houses maternity services. The original $110 million, 132-bed hospital opened in 2007 and was the first new hospital to open in the Valley since 1958. Jeannie designed the hospital to be patient and family-centered, and the organization's dedication to quality, safety, and patient and employee experience have been recognized numerous times, including HealthGrade's 2014 Outstanding Patient Experience Award, Women's Choice Award for Patient Experience, and the Thomson Reuters Top 100 Community Hospitals in the U.S. Jeannie volunteers at the St. Vincent de Paul Soup Kitchen, Boardman Civic Association, St. Charles School, and is a board member of the Orthopedic Surgery Center. Jeannie and her husband are proud parents of 2 young daughters who were late additions to their table this evening, so it was a perfect evening to bring your daughters. Jeannie, congratulations.
Jeannie, on behalf of the Regional Chamber, the Vindicator, and Centers for Hearing Care, I want to present you with the Athena sculpture. Thank you. And the Athena pin that represents your success in business, your community service, and your mentorship of other women. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, Kim told us 2 things at the orientation a few weeks ago. She said, first of all, whoever receives the award tonight always thinks it's really not going to be them, and she is right. And secondly, she also said, whoever receives it, it's very emotional, and she's 2 for 2, Kim. This is really an honor. I'm so honored to receive this tonight. You know, it was an honor just to be nominated and to be classed in with all these other wonderful and accomplished women who have done so much in their own areas to help and better our community. And isn't that what the ATHENA Award and a program is really all about? Recognizing women in leadership who have mentored others and who have worked for the betterment of their community. Whether it's in healthcare, in education, in criminal justice, in wellness, or in a whole variety of other areas, I think tonight's award, we're really here to celebrate all of our collective accomplishments. As I read the bios and had the opportunity a few weeks ago to meet the other nominees, I was very impressed not just with these women, but with the variety of ways that they had found to impact our community. with their contributions. And I have to say that as I look around the room tonight, and I know so many of you in here, so many influential people, so many inspirational people, so many who have given back to better our community and to create the platform from which the next generation is going to spring forward, it makes me very excited and very proud to call the Mahoning Valley my home. There are a few people I'd like to recognize tonight. You know, the ATHENA program has one of its many facets based on mentoring. And as with many of you in the audience, I know mentoring for me started with my parents at home. So I'd like to mention first my father, Clayt Anderson, who wasn't able to be here tonight. He wasn't able to travel from New York for health reasons. But I just have to say a little bit about my father's background. He was raised in an economically challenged environment. When his father passed away at the age of 13, he quit school in order to raise money for his family. He later went in the Navy, and while he was in the Navy, he washed clothes on the side to send money home to his mother and younger sister. When he came back from the Navy, he started a construction company. And by the time I was on the scene with my mother and the rest of the family, my father's construction company was one of the 3 biggest firms in town. He built nursing homes, he built hospital wings, he built community, commercial businesses, and all that with the education, the formal education of a 13-year-old. So I've always thought, if he could do all that, how, with the education that I've been given, could I not put forth my all and try and work with our community to better things? I also want to recognize my mother, Winnie Anderson, who's with us tonight. This is the first time in over 2 years Mom's been able to travel from New York to Youngstown, so I'm thrilled that she came out tonight. Mom is the backbone of our family. She has set a high bar for my sister and I, especially in terms of her moral ethics and her ideals of what is right and wrong, and in those areas she is unwavering. Mom is my daily confidant, and I thank you very much. Now, I have the privilege for working, as was stated, for Mercy Health. And as many of you know, our original 2 hospitals here, St. Joe's and St. E's, were founded by the Sisters of the Humility of Mary. And when we talk about women in leadership and women who are inspirational, my mind first goes to the Sisters of the Humility of Mary. We have a strong and rich heritage, thanks to these sisters, that stretches back to the middle of the 1800s, when Mother Madeline, the foundress of the HM Sisters, was asked by the Bishop of Cleveland to come here from France. She came on this voyage across the ocean with 10 other nuns and 4 orphans, and pretty much little else in terms of worldly goods, and came over here to begin to meet the needs of our community. They were given a plot of land just across the Pennsylvania border, which we now call the Villa Maria, and they began their first ministry in giving health care to the railway workers who were building the railroads through there. They later went on to build schools, and of course, as I said, St. E's and St. Joe's hospitals, which still serve our communities today. It really warms my heart when I talk about the sisters. I have some close ties with many of them. One in particular is Sister Susan Shorston, who I have credited on many occasions for being the individual who has allowed me to be in the position that I'm at today. Sister Susan actually interviewed me some 29 years ago for that initial residency program, which later turned into a fellowship. And I remember thinking back when she interviewed me, there were a whole panel of individuals going for this opportunity, and I wanted the opportunity so much. There was a doctor that was going for it. There was a nurse who had practiced at Baylor Heart Institute in Texas. And there I was, just out of grad school, young, no clinical background. I thought the odds were very much against Sister ever picking me. But she was a visionary and she was a risk taker, and perhaps she saw more in me than I saw in myself at the time, but she did select me, and I was privileged to work under Sister Susan for many years. She was my role model, she was my mentor, she was a great leader, and she continues to be a very inspirational woman today. Sister was going to be here with us tonight. Unfortunately, a dear friend of hers was hospitalized yesterday, and she's had to be out of town for that. But I promise you that when I leave here tonight, she is the first call I'm making. I also want to say it's a privilege to work for Mercy Health. I have had the opportunity to work for Bob Schroeder and with a phenomenal senior leadership team and with my fantastic team from Saney's Boardman, who are all here tonight, including Chi-Chi. They all feel like family at this point. It's just been wonderful. It's literally been a career opportunity of a lifetime to work with this team and take what once was a grassy field and develop the Saney's Boardman campus to the institution that it is today, and to the institution that is now an integral fabric of our community and has been so well received by our community. It's just literally been a dream. I also want to thank my husband, Steve, and my two daughters, who, as stated, did end up coming here tonight. I want to thank them for their support and their understanding, especially on the nights when work pulls me away from home. And finally, I want to thank the Regional Chamber and the Vindicator for all that you've put into this wonderful event and for recognizing the accomplishments of women in our society. To you and all of you here tonight, I'm so very grateful for this honor. Thank you very much.
Well, as we finalize the events of this very special evening, I'd like to just add my words of admiration to all of the nominees and all of the impressive women and business people in this group today. Jeannie, as our ATHENA recipient this year, you have certainly shown this community the tremendous accomplishments a woman is able to gain and have in a position that is not ordinarily filled by women. My congratulations to you. Certainly, I've gotten to know you over the last few years, and I can attest to the wonderful things that you have been able to do. It is also, I think, quite fitting that our keynote speaker this evening, Beth Mooney, has shown such greatness in her field also. Again, another opportunity that's not often given to women. I will take away from here your constructively impatient philosophy and pass that along in any mentoring that I hope to do. But what counts most, I think, for everyone here is that all women here have not just risen to their positions, but once they have arrived there, they have performed and performed admirably. And I think that's what makes us all so proud. So thank you to all of you, all of our sponsors this evening, because year after year they make this event possible. And then lastly, our appreciation to all of you who are here tonight to support your family, to support your friend, and to just support women in general. We applaud and honor all the excellent women. Thank you very much for coming. Good night.